over 45. I've never had any Botox or filler or any surgical procedures to alter my face. I love my features. I love my face. I love the skin that I'm in. Let's do my makeup. I have oily skin, so when it comes to doing my makeup, my primary concern is controlling oil. And I have not found a better product than Danessa Myricks' Blurring Balm. I'm in the shade 7, although I think I should be 6.5. I started using 7 in the summertime. I buff it into a brush. You can see that's quite a lot darker than I am, but I really buff it out for the benefits of oil control and getting the complexion to one shade. This is my base or my primer. Most days I use this and a little help from a turtleneck so that the difference between my neck is not so stark. But this is a fantastic product. My skin is clean. I have primed it to moisturize the Purito Deep Sea Moisturizer. My toner was a Galactomyces blend. Galactomyces is part of the ferment in sake. I think it's partially responsible for my lack of wrinkles. I love, love, love that toner. I've been using it for about a year now. In the beginning, I mentioned that I haven't had any surgical procedures, no Botox, no filler. What's my secret? Using plant-based moisturizers. My hero moisturizer would be cold-pressed rosehip seed oil with frankincense essential oil. There, that's our base. I'm looking a bit orange, so I'm going to tone things down. I'm going to go in with the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation Stick. Yes, got that right. I am in the shade Atelier 10.25. That's X.25. That's the way it shows up in the packaging. I'm going to go into the places where I would naturally want highlighter for this because I'm trying to balance out the orange or the warmer tone from the Danessa Myricks. Just going to go below my cheekbone with one big stripe and then in my under eye area. I don't go crazy with concealer. That underbaked look is just not for me. I'm going to buff this out and you can see already that's bringing back a more natural tone to the skin. Just really buff it in there so we have no brush marks. Getting a little extra coverage. And I'm going to go into the areas where I have a little more redness around the nose. And then just buff up towards my under eye. Under the eye, I focus on color correcting rather than concealing because it's more natural. You use less product and it really is a lot less visible. I do have minor scars from acne, but I think this base has covered that up nicely. Difference with the hands. I won't be walking around like this. The Jones Road Face Pencil in shade 17 is a nice peachy tone. I have a fluffy concealer brush and I'm going to work the product into the brush and then just stipple it into the areas of discoloration. Now, do you see that difference? I don't have a big yellow area under my eye. It might be a bit of a look. I don't find it flattering for myself. I think it draws unnecessary attention to the under eye. I have a little bit of discoloration in the corner here. Just going to address that. Just have a look at that. And how a little buffing of product takes care of that. The under eyes don't look dark and tired, but the darkness is neutralized. We haven't covered it up with a very yellow or brightening concealer. I think this is fine. I have a very bright light in front of me. Look straight at you and tilt my head up and down, and you can see where the natural shadows on the face fall. Those are the areas that give your face contour. So light, if I turn this way, you can see where a natural shadow would fall. As I'm speaking, you can see that shadow. I'm going to repeat that. You can see that shadow. I don't need to go in with any contour for this. I don't think it looks flattering. This is enough. It's enough. If I want a little flush of color that is soft and feminine, I will go in with a blush. But I think that your face is going to do what your face needs to do. And embracing that is the foundation of skin-like, no makeup makeup. Not adding too many shadows to the face because you can see them. For eyeliner, Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Pencil is one of my faves. A bit pricey, but an excellent product. Fantastic staying power. This is the shade Fig, I believe. Fig, yes. I'm going to show you how I create my wing with ease. Going to do it with one hand. Going to come in a little closer. Lower lash line has curved up. And if I were to make a trajectory continuing that straight line, I put the eyeliner directly into the corner of my eye. I follow that line with some very light flicks, soft pressure. This product is so pigmented, it does a lot of the work for me. That's all I do to create my wing. I do the same thing on the other side. Light strokes following that straight line up, and that's it. And now, instead of pulling my eye up, I just lift to create a little more space. I go just outside of the pupil and I draw a straight line. I make like a little pyramid. I have hooded eyes. And I just join that up. Very, very light strokes. Very pigmented product. This is very easy to do. Straight line. This side is easier. Very close to the lash line. Very light. That is my eyeliner done. Very subtle. Nice fresh color with the fig. Instead of a heavy black or brown, this is a little bit interesting. For my lower lash line, I'm actually using a lip pencil from Kiko Milano, shade number 25, and I go on the outside of my lower lash line, just on the outside, very soft, light stroke, sort of between the iris and the outer corner, just to add a softer highlight in the plum family. Subtle, beautiful. When I put my glasses on, I think it tones it down just the right amount. Next, we're going to move on to eyeshadow. I have been using the Rare Beauty Positive Light Liquid Luminizer in the shade Reflect. I open the bottle and I just use my ring finger. I don't even take the doe foot out. I just get a little bit on my ring finger. My other ring finger, smoosh them together because smoosh is my favorite verb. And we're going to tap in that area between the outer corner of the eye and the iris. We're just going to tap once. That's it. And then we're going to buff and tap. We want to concentrate it on the outside and then slowly work our way inwards and upwards. So we're just buffing. And then whatever's left, when we feel like we have enough, whatever's left on my ring finger, I'm going to put above my cheekbone for highlight and then slowly work my way towards my eye and then drag that out. I am working the excess product off of my ring fingers and then distributing this very nicely and evenly. How easy was that? And look at the result. It's fresh, it's elegant, so simple. I love this step. Our blush is from Jones Road in the shade Bright Coral Coral. Lovely. I'm going to get my blush brush and we're going to get the blush into the blush brush. This is a technique that I use. I clean my brush with a little spritz of rubbing alcohol after each use. Spritz of rubbing alcohol and then just smoosh it around in a paper towel. And then once a week I give it a proper full wash. We just want a little bit of product onto our bristles and then we're going to work it in by just bouncing the brush off the skin. As it gets too pigmented, just move to the other side because I might have put on enough for 2 cheeks and you can see the color building and blending into where we blended the highlight of the Reflect Luminizer. Go back to the other side. I have a little bit more on this side. So I'm just going to go in with 2 more swipes like that. There we have it. This is a cream blush. And then I will set it into place with a powder blush so that it has more staying power. But do you see I've not used any contour so far. And as I've added that color, the placement, you can see that natural shadow of my cheekbone slowly enhancing as we go through the makeup application. Very simple. I always do my eyes before my blush because sometimes with the cream blush, when I go in to lift my eyelid or something, I create like a little fingerprint. I wait until afterwards. Powder blush is going to be from the Kiko Milano Multi-Finish Trio Blush and Bronzer Face Palette. This was in number 3, so there were 3 different ones. I think this might have been the darkest one. The bronzer is lovely. This pink is gorgeous, and then this one has a little bit of shimmer illuminizer in it. I like to, again, dip my ring finger into the pink and go into my upper brow, just on the outside there, for a little subtle pink highlight, ever so subtle, so fresh. And then with the matte pink color, I just dab my brush ever so slightly once. You can see product on there. And then just one stamp on each side. And that is effectively setting the cream powder in place. I actually don't powder my face when I use the Danessa Myricks base. It is so mattifying that I don't need to powder and I'm left with a nice natural looking finish. Eyebrows are not the hardest thing to do, they're the hardest thing to film. I have my little eyebrow brush. I'm just going to brush them upwards. And my brows shape is okay, I'm happy with them. Just mimicking little hairs, extra hairs. And I'm filling in the gaps where a little extra hair would balance out the 2 eyebrows. In some places I need a little more on the top. I need a little more on the bottom in other places. This brow is slanting down, this one is slanting up. This one looks better, so I'm going to try to mimic that placement of hairs out like that. See how that just naturally balances the 2 brows. I don't do a lot with my brows because I wear glasses with big frames and they are actually very forgiving when it comes to hiding my brows. Ever since I got those glasses, I do a lot less with my eyebrows. Just fill them in a little bit. for balance. And this is again for the benefit of people who don't wear glasses, that filling in your brows doesn't need to be a big involved sport. This is a little too hooky. Those sharp angles underneath, I'm just going to smooth them out with the pencil. That looks good to me. Give everything a light brush to blend. I'm going to have to take a little time off camera. My favorite mascara is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extension Mascara. Beautiful, sleek packaging. This is a tubing mascara. It's such a beautiful formula. And I use Andrea Ali's technique where I start at the base, wiggle upwards, and twirl. So it's back to front, and you're slowly rolling the wand forward as you work up the eyelash. That's a little wiggle from side to side, wiggle, 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 and roll forward and up. That's the motion. There we go, like that. Try not to get it on my face. And that's how you get that instant. Just do a little bit of brushing for the individual ones on the side. The difference is very minor. Going to go back in on the other side. What a sport to do this with the mirror so far away. Wiggle, roll, and pull through. There we go. My two favorite makeup tutors on YouTube have been Wayne Goss and Andrea Ali. You should check them out. For lips, lately I have been really favoring these very affordable lip liners from Primark, and I want to tell you affordable, they're 75p each. They're highly pigmented and they come in beautiful browns and nudes. They are fantastic. I start off on the outer lip with the darkest shade that I own, which is Spice. And we go very lightly just along the very, very perimeter of the lips, ever so lightly. That's the outermost layer. And we're just going to press the lips together a couple times to distribute the product. And then immediately next to that, we're going to go in with a lighter shade. This is Toffee, a little further in, and a bit of a thicker line. So we're getting that ombre effect, but it's very subtle and natural. So we are blurring the lips. Just give that a little pat. And do you see how subtle that is? It's not a heavy application of lipstick. We've just defined the lips in shades that complement the rest of the makeup. The face is still very harmonious. This is not very high contrast makeup. And for some sheen, we're going to go in with a very light application of a lip oil. I use the same technique. I'm always picking up product from the shaft of the applicator with my ring finger. And then we're just going to dab that in the center of the lip, across, and slowly towards the edges. Going to stay inside and then across the top lip. And that's it. Super easy and simple. Put my jewelry on. Now that I have put my sweater on, I'm going to take my scarf off. When I slick my hair back, I wear a scarf for getting dressed so that my hair doesn't get disheveled. And once my makeup is done, I take that off, shush my baby hairs, and I'm all ready to go. I hope you learned some new techniques in makeup application, and I hope that the two makeup artists that I recommended will add a little bit of value to your makeup application skills. And now this is what the look is like with my glasses on. I can't see my eyebrows, which I find a fantastic freedom because most days I just don't bother. I don't bother. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Love you lots. See you soon.